And I'll be sharing this recording and along with all the slides at the end of the training for all of you guys. If you need to send me an email at paul@ecomedes.com, happy to talk about any questions you guys might have along the way. You can also use chat and QA in the webinar, and we're going to get started right now. So some housekeeping items. If you could stay muted during the program, that'd be great. If you want to enter any questions or want to interact on chat or Q&A, you have that available to you in Zoom. And afterwards, I'll send you this detail again, but you can register for your 1 GBCI General CEU credit available with the course ID, the attendee name, obviously, course completion day, which would be today, and then you'll get the 1 CE hour for the LEED AP BD&C designation. So I'm going to start with a quick pre-poll to get a sense of who's on the call, what you guys do. So if you guys wouldn't mind answering these poll questions, it'd help me kind of curate what we present and what we focus on today during the call. So what role do you play on the green LEED projects? How often do you search for sustainability data related to LEED projects you work on? How many hours would you say you spend searching for eco data when working on an entire LEED project from start to finish? And then on a scale of 1 to 4, how difficult is it to search and find and organize the data related to LEED compliance on projects? So if you guys could answer those questions for me, that'd be great. Thank you so much for jumping in there right quick. There's a lot of you on the call, so I appreciate the interaction. It's always hard in this world of Zoom. I used to do this in a room with live people, so I could figure out if everyone's paying attention or I'm boring them to death. Hopefully this will be very quick and informative for you guys. I know you guys' time is valuable. Thanks of you that have answered. I'll give you guys another 30 seconds to answer the poll questions. That's great. So we'll be closing the poll in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you guys so much. So there's some folks on the call today that are architects, designers. We've got some engineers, green consultants, and building product manufacturers. How often do you want to search for this stuff? Daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and never? And then how many hours would you expect to spend searching for that? So the vast majority under 20 hours, some 20 to 50, and then some 50 to 100, and then scale of 1 to 4. We've got some easies, some middle, some threes, and then some very difficult. So thank you guys so much for sharing that information with me. I really appreciate it. So the objectives today are going to be pretty straightforward. We want to show you how the USGBC's Better Materials platform is constructed, why it works, why they created it. They also have a new pilot program called Verified for LEED, where the GBCI reviewers are reviewing product data directly from manufacturers and then creating a one-page summary of that verification back out to project teams. Really nice way to kind of get the check marks for those credits that you want ahead of time. We'll review some LEED credits that our product data database on Better Materials provides data on and simplifies that trajectory of discovery and searching for those materials. And then we'll kind of cover in a live demo how the ecomedes platform can be used as an option to discover the building materials that meet specific sustainability goals you might be chasing after. How do you conduct comparisons of sustainable building products side by side, analyzing energy and water impacts of building materials, and then quickly, how do you create a quick project within our tool to do LEED project documentation, both at a product level, but also for an entire project across many, many different product databases. So the Better Materials program's mission was to advance the following 3 ideas. They wanted to accelerate the adoption of LEED, help it simplify its workflow and scale. When I first started doing work with LEED and the USGBC as a volunteer, there was only one version of LEED. It was actually a pilot back then in 2000. And I was fortunate enough to take one of the first LEED training classes in the US and became one of the first 100 people that had LEED AP designation. So it was really a very simple platform. I needed about maybe 10 to 15 attributes of a product. And I could do all the kind of calculations I needed to as a consultant or as a project team member. We now in our platform track about 3,000 independent eco data attributes to do the work that we do in support of not only US Green Building Council, but LEED, WELL, IFLI, Green Globes, all the different rating systems out there, including the GSAs. green procurement system. So it's very, very quickly gotten complicated. And what we're going to share with you is how the USGBC wanted to simplify that workflow specifically for LEED. So the way that the GBCI worked on this challenge was it looked at the data that they were needing to get for LEED review. Project teams are obviously doing a lot of work gathering up data from product manufacturers directly. There's a lot of other databases out there that were being used along with ours, but Origin, UL Spot, Building Material Scout, Sustainable Minds, On Greening, and a plethora of other ones. And it was a repetitive process because the data is constantly changing. Eco labels are updating themselves every month. Manufacturers are putting out new products, retiring other products. Certifications are going into recertification schemes. So all this data was having to be gathered up, and it was being gathered by hundreds and hundreds of people every single day. And then it grew very quickly to thousands and thousands of people looking for the same data over and over again, and then repeating that process 6 months down the road when maybe the project team decided to change that design, do some value engineering or whatever. So a lot of kind of repetitive work and a lot of data scavenger hunting, as I call it, for the process. So when the UHVC did some provisioned research, they actually said an average project team has to access at least 25 pages of documentation and interpret up to 45 parameters, and that has to be repeated for every project on every product on a LEED project. So that's a lot of chasing down the information, trying to spend the time. And it wasn't just one person, it was the architect and the specifier doing that work. Then it could have been the product manufacturer responding to that RFP. Then there could have been a consultant involved, an owner's rep. So the process was being done, and it wasn't just being done by one person and done. It was being done, gathered, shared, compared, analyzed, and then final selection was made usually with a group of people. So what they had an idea around better materials would be, what if the project team could go to the GBCI Better Materials platform and automatically be able to search all these databases with one query? So just like Expedia can search hundreds of airfare or hundreds of hotels at once, what GBCI did with Better Materials is, what if they could just put in one search bar and then instigate a search across all these different platforms? Today, we're going to talk about ecomedes, but all these other platforms do the same type of search based on whatever data parameters they might have. Some are just databases, some have certification databases behind them, and some are just data aggregators across the profile. And then product manufacturers are also feeding this data either directly to their websites, but also wanting to be found on other places on the web. So kind of very similar to how we do shopping and other types of things now, whether it's Yelp on a restaurant review, there's a lot of ways to find the same data. The idea is just to make it as easy as possible wherever you may be looking for it. So the way that it works is the bettermaterials.gbci.org platform has a single search bar. And as soon as you instigate a search into the search bar, what it's going to do is it passes that query along to all of us. And then all 5 of these platforms spin up a set of search results. And on your screen, you're going to see those search results. And across the top, you'll have tabs that can go to ecomedes, they can go to Spot, they can go to Origin, they can go to Building Material Scout or Sustainable Minds. So a single search will basically open up a browser window within all of these different search boxes, and then you can tab across the top to get to the product data that you might be looking for, depending on how much data you're looking to find on the web. And we all display data slightly differently, but in the end, a lot of the data might be the similar data that's available to you on the platforms. The Verified for LEED program is something a little bit more refined. It actually has a GBCI review go into all the actual data that we're going to talk about today at credit level. And they actually evaluate the data available from the manufacturer, from the certification body or self-declared first-party claims. They'll evaluate it, and then they'll judge whether or not it's acceptable to them or not, and then provide a LEED verified for LEED ID for that piece of documentation. So that'll be available to you, and I'll show you how you can find those products with one click. There's about 400 or so products that are verified for LEED. They're working on a new version, kind of a pilot version 2.0, to see if more manufacturers will participate, because it allows them to get the data straight from the manufacturer and not have to go through a couple different certification groups to be able to get that data. So what we're going to cover today is the Better Materials platform. Our URL is called materialsforleed.ecomedes.com. You can go there directly and just be able to create an account. You don't always have to go to gbci.bettermaterials.org and go right into our platform. It's free to use for anyone. It's designed to help anyone on a project team and everyone on a project team to be able to have access to all this data at one place. We as the ecomedes, we curate the largest database of green building products in the world. We have certification and eco-label data from over 40 different sources, and we bring that in on a monthly basis and curate it for our users. This particular platform is curated only for products that meet or exceed LEED V4 or V4.1 requirements. So we've curated all of our product data. We have about 800,000 products on our main database. This only features the products that meet LEED compliance requirements, credit by credit. We have certifications and eco labels, like I said, updated monthly directly from those data sources. I'll show you where within the tool it always creates a date and source stamp. So any piece of data you'll ever find on our platform, it'll tell you the source, comma, the date that it was last updated from that source. We're trying to be as simplistic as possible for product discovery. As we have so many different data sources, it's not always the easiest thing to exercise and create. But we think we've created a very kind of Amazon-esque feel to the left-hand navigation to be able to find things by product category, LEED credit, CSI division, certification, or brand. It allows us to have apples to apples comparisons, even though we have 3,000 unique eco attributes. Anytime you find a product in our system, you can actually just line them up and see them side by side without having to go to tons of different eco label sites simultaneously or bring that all back to a spreadsheet. That's how all this idea started. We, with lots and lots of spreadsheets, constantly updated them. Our firm started doing it on a monthly basis, and we realized this was really untenable. We needed to use some of the technology available to us on the web to be able to do that more cleanly. We have baked in product analysis. So any product you find on this platform, you can analyze it against LEED. Everything on here is already LEED compliant, but you can actually analyze in detail what LEED credits each piece and part of a project contributes to. I'll show you guys some ROI energy water calculators that are baked in from Energy Star and WaterSense. You can roll all the individual products you like into a project level set of documentation, which is a unique feature of ours, of our platform that no other platform has out there. And then project management dashboard. Once you get all your projects lined up, it'll actually show your overall impact on watts and water and dollars in ROI, and then shows you how many products are in each one of your projects that you're doing. You can create as many projects evaluations as you want. It's always free. We just want to be able to capture your stuff under a user ID so we can have it available to you when you want to log back in later on and check it out. So the credits we're going to cover today and review is LEED BD&C new construction 4.1. We're going to take a look at 3 materials and resources credits and 1 in indoor environmental quality. So these are credits probably you're very familiar with. These are the ones that pertain to mostly product data, and we're going to show you what's required of you, as you probably already know, but then how our platform supports that through the Better Materials Initiative. So before we get started, the credits that are already part of LEED verified for LEED are available at the very top of our tool, right at the very beginning of the filtration. It says verified for LEED documentation. If you press that filter, you'll get to, I think it says 427 products currently verified. So we have 376 in building finishes, building furnishings, construction materials, doors and windows. 15 manufacturers participated in the pilot, and I believe they're going to be rolling out a new pilot maybe at this year's Green Build. Haven't really heard yet on that, but a really, really cool way of manufacturers being able to submit their data up front and then having a GBCI reviewer do it straight away instead of it going through a project team, which sometimes creates a lot of anxiety. I know I was always anxious when I submitted my credits and waited with bated breath to see how those reviewers treated the documentation. All these products were reviewed and all the performance data was analyzed by GBCI for V4 and V4.1. So if you do that, if you were to click on that detail, you'll see in the search filtration, we always have brackets around things. We'll tell you how many products are at the end of that filtration. So within that, there's BIFMA level, biopreferred, declare. So every time you create a filter, everything else is what's called re-indexes. And you'll then find out how many products are there, what kind of eco-label data they had, and then how many products say Anderson Windows gave versus Armstrong Ceilings versus MyPay versus Human Scale or Hayworth. So every time you create a filter, you'll see the set of results get more narrow, and then you'll always have in the parentheses how many products are available at the end of that rainbow, as I say. So the first credit we're going to cover is LEED BD&C new construction 4.1 materials and resource credit related to environmental product declaration. So there's 2 points available here. A very, very important topic. I think embodied carbon is becoming more and more of an issue that more and more project teams are looking for. Here we're chasing after 20 different permanently installed products sourced from at least 5 different product manufacturers. So there's a variety of data you're going to go out looking for, LCA data related to ISO, product specific, industry wide, looking at cradle to gate scope. So there's a wide variety of data that you need to go pull. And based on the level of data and the level of specificity, your product that you put in the LEED online will either be worth half a point, a full point, 1.5 points, or 2 products. So what's nice is those product designations are pretty straightforward, but they're kind of hard for us to always keep track of if we're just looking at a static, LCA or a PDF of an EPD. What we'll be able to do is actually in the tool, we'll be able to sort the data by the type of EPD that we've gotten or LCA data we've gotten, and the system will automatically do that documentation. I'll show you that during the live demo. But essentially, any product that has an EPD or an LCA, you'll be able to filter that under the certifications and eco labels tab in our platform, and it'll totally tell you how many products are at the end of that designation. So right now, I think we have about 30,000 products that will pop up in results. This is always going to be different every day you go to it. Some EPDs come in, some EPDs go out, some LCA data comes in, some LCA data goes out. But you can refine that total number of 30,000 by category or subcategory. You could go in and say, I'm looking for flooring, hard surface, flooring, carpet, flooring, ceramic. And then as you do that, the number of products that are available will start glowing down. You can also further review it by EPD kind, and it could be industry-wide, product specific, product category specific, all that kind of stuff can be further refined on the left-hand navigation. Or if you know the brand you're dealing with or the brand that you're considering, you just type in the brand name and it'll sift through all the products that have an EPD from that brand or an LCA from that brand. But with one click, you'll be able to do this a lot more efficiently than going out to 8 or 9 different websites to try to go find all that information. Again, I'll show you when we do comparison that all that data is racked and stacked, already comparable, apples to apples. Within sourcing of raw materials, similar kind of idea. We're looking for products here by cost. So we're going to have to evaluate a little bit of quantity unit price. I'll show you how to enter that in when we do the live demo. But it'll actually evaluate whether or not the products by cost, quantity unit price equals the extended price. It'll be what did that product manufacturer support, whether it's extended producer responsibility, USDA biopreferred, FSC, materials reuse, or recycled content. All of that will be available to you. We have biopreferred, FSC, and recycled content. We're just now starting a project for the EPA. We're going to be doing a database of all the EPA recycled content data for the US government. We'll be able to push that data into the system as soon as that's live and ready to go. I think we have about 900 manufacturers participating in that database. We'll pull all that data in. And again, you can further refine it by subcategory, CSI division, or brand. And within a couple clicks, you'll have access to all of these products. Some products are good because they have an image and description and all that's available to you. Some eco labels that send data to this platform, like you probably already know, do not have imagery or descriptions. We try to do our best to give you the data you need to make a decision, but we always say that a picture and a good description, a hyperlink back to that manufacturer's website is really, really worthwhile to have in the system because it makes it a lot easier for people to kind of envision their project specifications and their construction materials. The next credit we would take a look at is materials ingredients. So ingredient reporting, we're looking for 1,000 parts per million. Again, 20 different permanently installed products from at least 5 different product manufacturers. There's a wide variety of things here that would work. ANSI BIFMA E3, otherwise known as a level rating system, is available there. Cradle to Cradle, Declare, facts from NSF, ANSI 336, Global Green Tag, Health Product Declarations, Living Product Challenge, Material Inventory, and then also product lens certification. So those are the things you're out looking for. In our system, we already have for you ANSI BIFMA level, Cradle to Cradle, Declare, HPDs, and Health Living Product Challenge. All those product databases are automatically available to you. Within a couple of clicks, you'll be able to filter out all those results and start sifting through the thousands of products that have already met those guidelines. You just then need to refine it by, in some cases, category, subcategory, CSI division, or brand. Some of them, like C2C, have multiple levels. When you click on C2C as a certification filter, you'll see that there's another sub-filter you could do by C2C level. So you can go gold or platinum or bronze, whatever you're looking for. Same thing with BIFMA level. BIFMA level has level 1, level 2, and level 3 is the highest. You can also sort through that to get a better refinement. Again, in some cases, you have still hundreds of products to choose from. You might want to go after the best. Well, we have the availability. If the data is existing like that in their database, we can pull that same level of granularity in and make it available to you to further refine your results. The next part of material ingredients would be optimization. So some of the same types of guidance, but you're now looking for more products that have a higher level of ingredient optimization. And that same level of detail is available. Cradle to Cradle, Declare, HPD, Living Product Challenge are all available to you. And then you can further refine it by those subfiltrations that you might be looking for. And again, all the credit requirement data mapping, if the data exists, meets these guidelines, we'll share with you how that advanced credit display works within our platform, either at the product level or at the final project level as well. Last element would be the indoor air quality credits related to low emitting materials. Here there's 3 points available depending on how many product categories you've achieved the low emitting criteria for. 2 product categories worth 1 point, up to 5 product categories worth 3 plus exemplary performance. So you're allowed to do that by gathering data from a lot of different groups. CDPH is the main driver here, VOC content evaluation, formaldehyde under the EPA guidelines, and then a variety of different product categories with specific rules, whether it's CARB, South Coast Air Quality Management District, ANSI BIFMA within M7.1, or the TSCA Title 6 CARB compliance. So we have that availability as well. So BIFMA Gold, UL Green Guard Gold, SCS Indoor Advantage are all ways to get to that same credit compliance. And all the products, there's I think over 60,000 here that'll be available to you if you want to use those parameters. Again, all that data is updated on a monthly basis. These certification bodies, some of them have 1,000 or multiple thousands of products. As things roll off, they come off our database. As new certifications get uploaded, the new ones will get loaded up there, and I'll show you where the certificate links go. All the certificate data that we have will always have a hyperlink back to that certificate at its source, so you can then further refine it or do analysis yourself if you want to dive further into that or present it to the client team. So I'm going to stop here and see if there's any questions before I go forward with the live demo. I want to make sure anyone that has a question can get it answered. And I think I've allowed everyone to talk. So if you'd like to just unmute yourself and ask a question, or if you feel more comfortable putting in the QA or chat before we go to live demo, I'd love to answer any questions you guys might have. I don't see any. Either that was super clear or you guys are still recovering from lunch. All right, I'll go into live demo. And if you have any questions, please stop me. Please feel free. I want to be able to answer any questions you guys might have. So here's our platform. It's called Materials for LEED. Signing up for an account is super easy. I'll just show you how to do that before you dive all the way in. So all you have to do is go to the upper right-hand corner, go to sign up and log in. It'll give you a prompt. You just put in an email address and a password, and then it's just that easy. It doesn't need to be tied to anything else. Once you create an account on any ecomedes platform, you can have that single sign-on for any project platform we have. We have our main tool called products.ecomedes.com that's aligned with every rating system, and it's got what we call kind of our Switzerland database. It doesn't have any specific favorites. Every rating system that's available in North America is in there. All the categories are in there. Every certification, eco labels in there. All the brands are in there. This specific one, Materials for LEED, this one's generated for the USVC just for LEED compliant products. So everything in our main database has been indexed and curated, typically on a nightly basis to make sure that at least one or more of the eco labels and certification data sets are aligned with what a LEED credit would require. So as you can see, there's a lot of data sources pushing in here. Assure, asthma and allergy friendly, BIFMA level, biopreferred, cradle to cradle, you name it, it's in here. Again, we have all the data that's willing to be given to us and shared with us is being pulled into this database. So it's very easy for you to take a look at. If you do create an account, again, it's free. We don't spam you. We just want to be able to track your data and hold some data for you so you can go back in there and access projects. So I'll kind of start in reverse. I always wanted to know how much of an impact I had with all the work that I did. So one of the things I first thought about is like, what if I had a tracker for watts and water and turn that into dollars and cents? So here, what we do is we take every one of your individual projects, and those projects have products. So you build out a little template, what are my project details? And as I find products on the database that I want to use on a project, I just put in the product detail. And when I'm on that product page, in this case, this Armstrong swimming towel, all that environmental data that I'm going to show you a much deeper dive into in a second, but all this environmental data that you would have to go scouring for on their website is all put into nice, neat little rows, and you'll see why they're all in nice, little, neat rows soon enough. here's a LEED summary sheet. So we talked about this LEED verification sheet. If I want to see what that looks like with one click, I'll actually get the GBCI sheet. Here's all the credits that we talked about today. Here's all the data that the GBCI reviewer found, the EPD. They created an ID for that. And then all the other data that the GBCI reviewer did is all available right here. So all of it's summarized for you. And every single piece of data that underlines this product is available with that simple click. So if I hover over this product specific EPD, it'll tell me that Armstrong updated this on 16th of May of 2022. And along with that, I can always go get it from them with one click. I don't have to go scouring on an EPD database for this. If I want a health product declaration, click on that. I can get to that. I can go LBC, go get my declare label. I can go find my UL Green Guard Gold certificate just as easy. So every piece of data in here will always be attributed to the source and the date stamp of the last update of that. So I could have seen this on the product discovery side of things. I can contact the manufacturer if I want. If I want this as a PDF, I can just say get PDF. It'll generate a PDF for you. I can add it to a comparison, or I can add it to a project. I already did that, so I don't want to dive into that, but I can just, as I find products that meet my guidelines with a couple clicks, I'll go, I love it. I want to put it back in my project. And when I pop back into my project, I've basically gathered this without you having to do any of that PDFing and putting it on your desktop. All these products across all these manufacturers have all been put into one project. At the very bottom, if I had water and watts projects, I can actually do a water calculation of savings. I'll go into that in a little bit detail later, but I can evaluate against any known LEED version that I'm looking at. So I could do BD&C, I could do in IDC, I can go back and do a LEED V4 analysis if I wanted to. And the system will actually go and take all the data from all these products that I submitted, and with one click, it'll evaluate all of them. And it's going to take a couple seconds. It's going to look at every one of these product detail pages. These $9 million of products that I just put into a project will now be evaluated for everything in LEED and all the versions of LEED that I had. So this is a project level summary that's automatically done for you. And then down below, if you actually go to the individual product pages, I can hide these details. It'll tell me that this number of units at this cost per unit is going to provide me this detailed report. So this is LEED BD&C for NC. And here's all the detailed product submittal stuff that you need. So you got one product count for this because it had an EPD. You got $136,000 worth of value out of a $425,000 order because this is the recycled content data that they submitted and is available. Here's an HPD. You got this optimization, and here's the document source link. And then here's how you contributed low emitting materials, daylight, and then also acoustical performance. There's some STC rating and some thermal light reflectance that's coming off of the daylight quality credit here. So all of that detail is available to you, and we do all the homework. So I always say we do the scavenger hunt and the homework to make LEED a lot easier for everybody. And again, all those projects are saved for you in a folder. Sometimes you'll go in there and say, you know what, I need to take that out. That project's no longer valid. I can just go in here, delete it. It'll ask you if you want to confirm, and just that quickly, it takes it out of your sort. And if it had watts and water related savings in your like kind of LEED CV, it'll take it out of the overall total. So it's a really, really nice way to kind of organize all your data, way better than my desktop used to look like when I was out there trying to get hundreds of these EPDs and PDFs on a daily basis. So I'll go back to the main site and show you how to kind of navigate at a very high level. So the main way that people look for verified for LEED is just by clicking that filter. I now have the 429 results. And as I said before, you can then filter by category. So I could say, well, what's available in finishes? And now I have got acoustical ceiling tiles, adhesive ceilings. So every time I create another filter, it'll further bring down the total number of products that are in there. I can look by product type, flooring and ceilings. I can look by certification. So these products that are in finishes, right, have the following detail underneath them: bio preferred, declare, HPD. If I were to go in there and say, I'm only looking for ceilings, the number of certifications will recalibrate and it'll tell me what's available. If I said I only want to find ones that have an EPD, then I'll go down to 267. And if I look at the brand, I'll probably be left with only one brand. It also can look at what kind of a kind of EPD it is. It's a product specific EPD. I back out of the EPD one and say, well, which products here had a health product declaration? And go in here and the same thing, Armstrong Slings is the health product declaration filter. So that's how you do the verified for LEED documentation. I can also look by rating system. So if I go into LEED V41 and I say I'm looking for IDC credits in commercial interiors and materials and resources, I have 213,000 results left. I need to go get some material and resources credits. There's 60,000 results that'll help me with that. And if I'm looking specifically for MR credit number 4, there's 36,000 results left. And again, now my product categories are getting a little bit more tight. If I say I'm looking for, say, building furnishings, I can go in here and find what furnishings I'm looking for. I'm looking for furniture, and I'm looking, say, for chairs, so seating. So now I'm down to the 546 results that are from manufacturers that have one or more of these certifications, which are what's driving the LEED credit attribution. And here are all the brands that have seating that's LEED V41 interior design construction credit number 4 compliant. So it's designed to be a really good research tool if I'm thinking about how narrow I need to make my specifications. But then when I'm actually trying to pick things, especially as being a consultant or an architect or specifier, or even a contractor, I can check even if my subs are giving me things that are going to align with what I need to get. So if I went in here, I said, I want to start comparing some of these. So I'm going to add this different world chair to a comparison. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to add this to a comparison. I'm going to take this Aeron chair into a comparison. I'll take this, let's see, let's get one more brand products in here. Let's see, sit on it. I'll put that into a comparison, and I'll take this Knoll chair into a comparison. So just that quickly, I've created comparisons. You'll see like a light blue faint line around the baseball card, as we call it. And if I go to view comparisons, now I see all this data side by side. And I know it doesn't seem like a magic trick, but if you've tried to do this before on your own and go gather up data from 5 different manufacturers, you'd know it's fairly hard to do, especially if you want to look at things side by side, apples to apples. So I have some environmental advocacy URLs I can link to, environmental data sheets. I can even see product manufacturing locations if I care about the embodied carbon of moving it. Product page links, all of them have that, which is great. Only one has a LEED summary sheet for verified for LEED. 4 of them have level certifications. They all meet California 1350. Some meet LBC red list free requirements. 1 conforms to the red list with the exception here listed. 2 have an EPD. You know, this would take the better part of a half week if I was doing this by hand. It's all available to you within a couple clicks. Living Product Challenge product there. You have recycled content, SCS Indoor Advantage, Green Guard. So all that data is made available to you. And what's really nice about this as a tool working on projects with others, you can go copy this URL, and I'm going to put it in chat for you guys. If you guys were to click on this thing that I'm putting out in chat to everybody, you would see that now any one of you guys could share that out. A lot of young designers, they're good at like sharing things technically. My daughters are both in college. They like love using technology like this. Grab it, share it, throw it out there. And now everyone that they're trying to collaborate with can see this product data, and then they can make choices. Because when you get it, you can say, well, thanks for sharing this, but you know, I don't want to use the all steel product, and I'm going to, kick out the Knoll product. So I really want to be down to human scale, Herman Miller, and sit on it. And here you have now all the data you might need to make a better decision. You can go through rounds of discussion like this with your project teams, making it easier for people to pick products that are aligned with what you want. So that's a nice way to do it. Sometimes when people are doing this, they'll take out this search result and they want to have all 546 as a scope within a specification. So some firms are actually going to copy that entire URL, which is all these results, instead of it being comparison. And they'll actually throw it into what I'm doing in chat now and say, this is the active dynamic list of products in furniture seating that meets this credit requirement in LEED. So if you were to write a spec that said it needed to be LEED compliant with LEED V41 IDC credits, and you're speccing furniture, you could tell this to all your furniture vendors and all the bidders that they have to find a piece of furniture in seating that's on this list, because if not, more than likely it doesn't have the certifications and eco labels that it needs to be compliant with. So that way you're not restricting what brand they choose. They can choose any of these brands, but all the data has been already supported in your specification and in this list of products. So that's another way that folks use the tool to kind of narrow in on a LEED credit within the rating systems that are available. Another way to do this is to just find things like building finishes. If you went in here and said, oh, I'm gonna look at a certain category of type. So I'm gonna go into, let's see, non-carpet flooring. So things like resilient. Within 2 clicks, now I have 9,500 results that are not carpet that have all this underlying data within it. But if you said, hey, I want to look for things that have C2C, then now I'm left with 66 results. And I can take a look at what kind of product types they are, and then what kind of C2C levels they've attained. 35 got silver, 12 got gold, 19 got bronze. And then here are all the brands that have achieved cradle to cradle certification in case you have a client looking at circularity or resiliency or things like that. So there's another way to kind of go at the product category, click one of the certifications and eco labels, and then find all the brands that meet it that way and narrow down your sort. And again, within any of these products, if you click on documentation, you can say, I want to know how this product would help me theoretically for LEED commercial interiors. With 1 click, I'll get all the data from that baseball card surfaced. All these hyperlinks are available for you if you want to go looking for that substantiated data. But here's the breakdown of how that one specific product with all the data up above, you might or might not know all the granularity there. Here, this automates all that process. So someone that's done LEED training for LEED APs and folks like that and sat in a room for 7 hours trying to keep 100 architects, engineers, and consultants and constructors from like throwing things at me. I was like, I had to make it fun. This makes it a lot more fun because they don't have to remember all the credit language. Here, we've done all this work for you. That's one of the things that we really focused on. And we focus on every day is how do we automate this to make it easier to let you go back to doing the things that really matter. There's plenty of other challenges putting together a construction project. So all this data is available. It's documentable. And then if you want to get that PDF and share it out with the rest of your team, if you go to print PDF, you'll get a timestamp, date-stamped piece of documentation about this Tarkett product. And then you'll have the ability to either print it or share it with your team and have that PDF. If you like the product, you could also just add it to a project. So just that quickly, if you're logged in, it'll say, what project would you like to add it to? I can just put it in here, add it to this project, hit save. And now this product, along with all the data, is now in that project for me in my folder. Another way to look is, doing that same certification kind of sort. But if you're looking for things that only say had an EPD and you're maybe looking for a category like drywall, you can go in here and say, I'm looking for construction materials, and then pick the subcategory of products and then find gypsum drywall right here. And now you'll see product details from a manufacturer like USG, and they have the same kind of level of data. You can take a look at what you might want to look at. Again, with real quick availability, you can contact the manufacturer, do a comparison, or again, I like it, it makes sense, I want to add it to my project, hit go, and then you have it now saved. So all this data just gets wrapped up, all these hyperlinks get pulled in, and you just get to put it into another project as you go. I promise you guys 2 more things before I stop and answer any questions would be looking for something within the tool that has watts or water savings. So if I go to lighting and ceiling fans, there's 38,000 results here. I go to subcategory light bulbs or light fixtures, I can go in here, and then I can sort by the name or the product detail. Here's the data. If I hover over it, it's all coming from Energy Star, so it's a very valid source, came on the 12th of April. And then I can go in here and say, I need a 5-year analysis. I'm going to take the data from Energy Star up here of what it uses in on mode, right? So it's got a 3-year warranty, it's dimmable. And I'll go in here and say, I need 100 of these light bulbs. I'm going to spend $8.25. They use 4 watts. The baseline bulb could use 60. I'm converting it from a fluorescent. I can change that baseline to 32 watts. And it'll instantly show me how much more I'll pay for those better bulbs. When do I break even? And then this big jump right here is when I don't have to replace the bulb, because this one lasts for 15,000 hours. The baseline bulb lasts for 10. So this is my jump in energy savings from not having to buy a bunch of bulbs. So if I had to buy 100 more bulbs at $2 a bulb, this is that jump in savings. And then eventually my 15,000 hours wears out and I have to buy more bulbs along the way, and I keep saving money. It'll give me 61,000 kilowatts of energy saved, and then I get to have $10,000 in energy savings across that time horizon. If I change the number of analysis years to 5, the system constantly reshuffles those calculations for you and shows you whatever you're interested in showing the building owner. And again, if you like that product, you want to bring that into a project, you can just go in here, hit that, it puts it into that project, and I'll go and save it like that. Last one I'll show you is just the category for water efficiency. If you go to plumbing and you're looking for plumbing fixtures, you can go in and say, I'm looking for single flush toilet. So all the single flush toilets from WaterSense are in here. You can see the certifications that single flush toilets have. Some have Declare, EPDs, HPDs, life cycle assessment, and obviously WaterSense certification is the big one, but maybe I want to have one that has an LCA as well. So I'm going to say LCA and WaterSense. So here's a bunch of products that have both of those things. Same kind of idea. There's product specific EPD available for this product. And then I can say, I want a 5-year analysis. I'm building out a space for 2,000 occupants. So you can put in whatever female, male occupancy you have. Say I need to buy 50 of these toilets and in that building, and I'm going to spend $305 on the better toilets. And here it'll do the same kind of calculation. How much more did I spend on the better Kohler toilets? When does my break even happen? And then how much total amount of dollars will be saved over the course of the 5 years? 12 million gallons of water equals $168,000. So you can adjust the water rate if you want, adjust the occupancy rate if you need to, and it'll automatically readdress the water calculation for you. And again, if you like that product, same idea, just put it into a project that you've already built. And that's kind of what I do when I go cruising through the system and I find really good products that I want to save for later. I just have a project in there and I can always just go grab it. So this was the example that I had here. I can update this for the date. But the products that we found right here, the USG drywall, and then the toilets right here. So if I put in the toilet quantity of 100, and I think we had a price of 305, and then we added the USG. So I'm gonna put in 10,000 square feet of that. And that was $2.75. Hit save. And now I've got an energy calculator for the lights that we put in. I have a water calculator for the 2 water fixtures. If I have 2 or more fixtures in there or lights, I can actually go and isolate the ROI to whatever the chart is. It'll automatically blend the 2 together. And here it's $27,000 of water savings over that horizon of time, $300 because I think we have too low of a quantity. So where'd that light bulb go? There it is. So if we put in 1,000 of those light bulbs at $825, I go here, hit save, and now this will more appropriately address that many light bulbs. And then at the bottom, I just want to run a bunch of calculations for LEED CI 4 and 4.1, hit evaluate. All that data again gets re-regressed, re-looked at, and then repopulated. And now this $9,100,000 project has all those credits redone. Again, this would have been a dream for the first 10 years of my life because I wouldn't have been stressed out looking for more data as project designs change or somebody did value engineering. I was always so frustrated, but this makes it a lot easier to take care of that. So I will stop now and answer any questions any of you have. Please unmute yourself. I'd love to hear your voice and ask me a question live if you'd like. If you don't want to do that, that's completely okay. I've got a poll question for you if you guys want to answer that along the way, and we can go from there. So I'll launch the poll as you guys think about your questions, but just on a scale of 1 to 4, how impactful would this be for you on your LEED projects and your work on those LEED projects? How much time do you think this platform could save you when working on a LEED project? And would you recommend ecomedes to a colleague or industry partner? So I appreciate everyone jumping on the poll question. Got a great question in question thing, so I'll give everybody a couple minutes. There's a question in the poll on the Q&A that says, can other team members be added to your project list? We are working on a collaboration feature, but right now ecomedes and the platforms that we have are in single player mode. Your projects are just for you. We are working towards the ability to have multiple people interact on a single project, but we're dealing with some permissioning issues. How can we do that? How can we keep project team members from deleting a SKU, adding a SKU? That's the toughest little thing to cover, but we're working on it. And I think we'll have something available next year that'll allow you to do that kind of work. Right now, we can share project collections and share ideas and share collaboration comparisons, but to do an actual project all in one account, that's something that we're working on right now. So thank you for that question. All right, I'll end the poll And thank you guys all for participating in the poll. Got great answers. So, seems like it's going to be impactful for your work. That's awesome. Seems like it's going to save you guys a considerable amount of hours. Between 20 and 50 was the most popular answer. And you definitely recommend it to a friend. So thank you for that. We'd love for more people to use this platform. We get a lot of folks saying that they didn't know that this existed. And every time I do a training on a monthly basis, people are like, thank you so much. And we get really awesome compliments via email about how much time it's saving them on project teams. If your firm would like to have a training like this directly for your entire project team or your entire office, we're happy to do that. We do those all the time. You can also get CEUs for those. You just need to tell us, schedule a meeting. We ask that you have at least 20 people in the meeting so you can invite your colleagues, larger project teams you want to gather together and do it across. You obviously can do it via Zoom. Let us know. We'd be happy to get more people knowing that the platform exists. Our goal, and my goal specifically, is to make LEED easier. That's been my mission since I learned about LEED. Love to make it easier and make the process a lot easier to deliver, because I think it's pretty complex, and that complexity is kind of slowing us down in adoption. I don't have any other questions. Okay, let's see. Your search looks different than mine online. Why is that? Depends on what search you mean by. So if you go into materials for LEED, if you want to unmute and just tell me what you've typed in, I'd love to go through that with you. But you just want to make sure you're on materialsforleed.ecomedes.com. So I'll put that in the URL in the chat for everybody. Any other questions? I know that was a lot of information in a very short amount of time. All right, well, thank you guys for participating. Like I said, I'll send you all these slides at the end, probably tomorrow. You'll get them tomorrow. You'll get an email with all this information. You just self-report to the GBCI. I'll give you all the slides, and I'll also send you a link to the recording. If you'd like to schedule a one-on-one with your firm or your project team, happy to do a quick one. We do a 30-minute version of this that's not so CEU focused, and just here's how you set up a project, here's how you set up accounts for everybody in the charrette, and then 30 minutes later, everyone's off to doing whatever it is that they need to do on a project to make it successful. But we've got a lot of different folks use the platform. We convert the platform, and we can customize it for a wide variety of audiences. So our main platform is just called products.ecomedes.com. Let me sit here and stop recording. So if you guys ever want to use that one, you can actually look for products that meet all the different rating systems. So here you can look through LEED, WELL, IFLI, GBI. We have a couple other additional eco labels and certifications that are aligned with other rating systems that the USBC doesn't look for data on. And then we convert our platform to make it customizable for architectural and construction companies. So here's Arco Murray has a platform with us, and they have their own standards that they can actually bake into the process. So they've created their own kind of curated list of products that they use often. DPR Construction has a version of our platform for their project team, so they can kind of dictate what certifications and eco labels are conformed into their process. Same functionality, but they can curate down to whatever it is that they want to see. We have a version for the GSA called Sustainable Facilities Tool. And this is all product data that aligns with their EPA regulations, the federal guidelines, and other specifications and elements. We are also used by eco labels. So like BIFMA Level is one of our clients on the certification side. We have a system just for them. And all their data that they have on their certification database is then syndicated out to all the other sites that need BIFMA level data. But this is just dedicated to commercial furniture and the products that have met those criteria. We just launched one for RFCI, if you're familiar with the resilient floor covering industry. They, as an industry, have done an amazing job of putting together all the certifications and eco labels that matter. So this one category of product, resilient flooring, has this many eco labels that their products have been certified to. So a wide variety of brands. And this is how many different pieces of documentation this one product category has available. So they wanted to put all that data in one spot. So if you're going to be specifying this type of flooring, you could take a look at that. So I have another question about setting up a CU course. You just need to send an email to me. I'll put my email in the chat, paul@ecomedes.com. Happy to set that up. After the call, just tell us what date works for you guys. We'll be happy to do that. And do manufacturers contact you to be included in our database, or does the company seek these products? So the way that our platform works is we have one big gigantic database called products.ecomedes.com. We have around 100 total brands that are our customers, but we have over 10,000 brands that are in our system. The vast majority of these products that are not our customers, these are our customers that actually have us build out specific platforms just for them. So like Herman Miller has one, Miller Knoll, actually, they just merged with Knoll. They have a system just dedicated to their platform and just dedicated to their brand. So we can license this platform directly to manufacturers to actually manage their data because it's such a complex thing. But our products.ecomedes.com, which is our baseline tool, it has data across all certifications. So more than likely, if you're a manufacturer, you've probably achieved one or more of these things because it's kind of like the gateway to get onto a LEED project, a WELD project, or IFI project. So just search whatever your brand name is up here, and it'll pull up, whatever catalog of products there are. So USG with one name search, you'll get all the brand products. There's 1,397 in there. Let's type in one that's not our client. So Mannington Flooring is a flooring provider. They're in our system. We have 108 results. And we have products detail from Declare, EC3, environmental product declarations, Floor Score, Green Label Plus. So if you're not in the system yet, we just need to take a look at what kind of data you have, and if we can help you, we'll organize your data, basically license you our data management backend, and then you can update your data with us, and then we can bring it into our system across all the different platforms. So you can contact me directly, and happy to do a search first if they're in our system. But if you type in the name on products.ecomedes.com, usually it'll pull up a product with whatever detail they have out in the marketplace, because we're getting data feeds from all these people. That's why I have data, even though Mannington's not a customer, I still have their 1350 documentation. I've merged their HPDs with their living product challenge declared databases. It's TAA compliance, mercury free. It's got an embodied carbon calculation that's being pulled in. And then we also have some material disclosures, all the things that they're not in their products. This is becoming really in vogue, is to tell people what's not in your product. It used to be tell everybody what's in your product. Now with the transparency movement and healthy building focus, it's a lot of telling people what's not in your product. I'll link to a 3-part spec and a bunch of other details. So we try to do the best we can. It's hard to keep 10,000 brands data aligned, but we say that, if it's well done and well documented at the certification level, it's easy for our AI and machine learning algorithms to pull it in. Don't see any other questions or things in the chat. Again, if you'd like to chat, please just send me an email after this, paul@ecomedes.com. I'll be sending all of you an email tomorrow at the latest with the deck, the recording, and then a couple hyperlinks to the materials for LEED.ecomedes.com site, products.ecomedes.com. And if you're a manufacturer and you want to talk directly, just let me know. I'll be happy to show you some examples of what we are doing. Last little thing is we just acquired a company called Mortar, and it's like an inspiration page. Imagine like House or Pinterest or Instagram. So what we're doing right now is integrating this with their really amazing feed, and that way you're going to be able to find product details in the tool very, very quickly. So if you're looking for inspiration around projects that have met LEED guidelines, you're going to be able to actually find projects. And in those project pictures, you'll be able to click into something. And if it's a project that's achieved LEED, you'll be able to find more information about the actual ingredients in there. So I'm going to click on this and select all the product level certifications. So I'll show you how this works. So if I was interested in this product and I want to know how this stool was green and part of that whole greenness, I can take a look at that and say, oh, it's Clean Air Gold. One of the cool ones we had up on this tool the other day was looking at Kohler, and I don't know where the product detail was. I might have lost it, but I could click on a product and get to, okay, it's here, it's Eco Checker. So I can go in here and find the product detail from the inspiration page and then find that this product had an EPD and instantly be able to add it to my project, document contributions and see how it might be able to help. So we're going to create a channel just for LEED projects and LEED products that are aligned with LEED projects. So we'll be able to do this for you and be able to kind of connect you to really cool projects that have been done successfully, and then be able to click right in and find out whatever information is available. In this case, this other product will lead you to a porcelain product page. So that's what we got on the horizon for the rest of this year, is integrating this like inspiration platform. We say kind of connecting inspiration to documentation and letting you guys be able to find the products that make the most sense. And then with one click, be able to get to the right Kohler product and have those kind of analyses at your fingertips. So thank you guys so much. I know we have only 4 more minutes or 2 more minutes left. I'll give them back to you guys, and please be in touch and I'll send you an email tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.